You're listening to the Reinvest Podcast, where each Tuesday we show business owners and entrepreneurs how to diversify into real estate by equipping you with the tools and tactics to build generational wealth. Your hosts, Garrett Gatton and Seth Ciminillo. Hey guys, welcome to the Reinvest Podcast, 3 years plus running. I'm excited to be here today. We've got a great episode and guests lined up for you. We're heading into the spring market, so real estate's starting to buzz around here. Investors are excited to get out there. Homeowners are looking for houses. Grant monies are out, so there's some upward pressure on the buyer market.
Tax returns are back for people. We're rubbing two pennies together, buying some rentals. So, no, there's been a lot of activity. What amazes me after even doing this podcast so long, we're just still learning new stuff in real estate.
I know,
there's like all sorts of stuff to learn in all different types and asset classes and strategies. So we're here to talk about another one today. So we have Mike with us. Mike, how you doing?
Good to be with you guys.
Mike, you're in our backyard. It's always fun to do an episode with another Ohioan here. You're in Cleveland, Ohio. You run the Azzam Group. Give us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you are today, and then we want to jump back and talk about how you got into real estate.
Yeah, I was Mike Azzam, the Azzam Group here. We're running a full service real estate investment team. So we've just kind of captured that vertical integration, sales, construction, property management, cleaning, all the way down the line, title. We just built out resources, team, network, and help facilitate the process for mostly remote investors. We have a big pipeline of investors around the world, around the country, 20,000 people in our database, just buying and selling real estate in Cleveland, Ohio, actually. So
who knew Cleveland was such a hot market?
It has been. It's been since I started doing this back in 2012. And it just started really catching steam. I'd say around 2017, 2018 started to heat up, and then on COVID year is when
it just went absolutely insane.
One of the things I just observationally from hearing when you got into it, and I bring this point up to encourage some of the people listening to this show. Everybody's like, oh, well, you just right place, right time. You got lucky. Well, you were doing this since 2012.
Yeah.
And so your business was already kind of in a place of maturity coming into an up market in real estate. So, it's like, I think it was somebody made a comment. Maybe it's Steve Jobs. I think he said this before he passed away. He said, the interesting thing about overnight successes is that they were 10 years in the making. Right, you see the overnight success, and you're like, "Oh, how do I get that pop of success?" And lucky. Well, no, it was 10 years in the making.
I couldn't agree more. That's look, a little bit of luck, and that luck part is right place, right time. I'm gonna say this: like you've got to. Life is like timing and luck. Okay, part of your success, but the difference with most people is like maximizing that luck, maximizing that opportunity. So, I do think it would be so much different if I got in the industry in like 2021. I look at agents who built a business after 2019, 2020, 2021, successful businesses. And I commend them because I could argue 10 times tougher with the saturation that we have in the industry. But to your point, and to that quote, I got a full head of steam. And we were ready. So once once the market started to take off, we were 10 steps ahead.
Yeah. And
we made sure we just, we took advantage. That's the luck and time, right place, right time. But then we took advantage of it. We knocked down that door. We took advantage of that opportunity and, continue to grow since then.
Yeah, I think Grant Cardone I think it was like in his book or one of his podcasts I was listening to, but he had the analogy of like, if you just keep going to bat, like people can say, hey, you got lucky, but you just kept swinging. And eventually you're just going to hit a home run, right? And like everyone's like, oh, wow, that was lucky you hit a home run. And he's like, well, I swung 1,000 times, and I finally hit one out of the park. And so I love that. So let's go back. So you've been in real estate for a while, since 2012. Let's go way back. What were you doing before real estate? Did you go to college? Anything like that?
Yeah, I got out of high school and went to college just like anybody else. And look, I, bounced around jobs while I was in college and just like, trying to figure out what I want to do.
Were you native
And
to Cleveland?
born and raised. So, I didn't really know, again, like most, what I wanted to do. I knew I couldn't work for anybody. Like this is what I figured out. And early on, and my friends and family, my wife, they joke like I have an issue with superiority. Like anybody that just don't know how to handle that. So, graduated with my nursing degree. And while I was in college, I was already working at a property management company, the same one now.
Oh, interesting.
As a like entry level leasing position. And at the time it was, and this is just so interesting now looking back, it was a 30 to 40 door management company. I'll call it a company. And with some filing cabinets and a small little office, 2 people, they needed somebody to go to the houses and open lock boxes and show some prospective tenants in the complete inner city of Cleveland.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. Sign me up. I was so naive that I had no idea what that was. I didn't know these areas. I didn't know where I was. Like I didn't like, I grew up in like a suburb of Cleveland. I grew up in Parma Heights. Like, guys, I didn't know what St. Clair Superior was. Okay. And I'm starting to show these units and I'm getting them leased and, I'm doing like entry level management stuff. And I really loved it. And fast forward, responsibilities grew and I'm leasing these out so fast and we're growing because of it. We're getting, I started doing YouTube videos back in 2013, 2012.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I have videos from my old Droid, like it's so pixelated. It's
like just doing
funny.
walkthroughs, like doing unit walkthroughs and just throwing them on YouTube.
Yep. Just throw them on YouTube for prospective tenants that are looking to rent a $350 apartment on East 54th and Fleet.
Wow.
And it was just like, I was renting 20, 30 of these a month. And, guys, like I was making $100,000 a year. It's like at 24, 25 years old. Like, it was just like, life was good.
Yeah.
I graduated and I knew that was not for me, but I had to finish up. But it was one of these weird things that I'm like, I gotta get closure. And so I got a job at the clinic and the Cleveland Clinic downtown. Everybody knows, obviously, the conglomerate Cleveland Clinic.
Mm-hmm.
All the while I was still working for the management company. Okay. Getting my real estate license on top of it at this time. I'm on lunch break, literally, instead of everybody else in the lunch room, in the break room, talking about what they did the night before, what they have plans this weekend. I'm on the MLS. I'm scheduling showings. Okay. Again, for $400 apartments, and they're all looking at me like I am some alien. Okay. Literally, like, this dude, what is he doing here? He's working and showing apartments. And I remember one day they're just pulling up these apartments. Like, you show these?
Yeah, especially actually, because they're so rough. Like, on top of everything, they're like, what is happening over there?
And you know what it was too, is they're also looking at it like, these are guys, no offense to my former coworkers, like they're all hamsters on a wheel. And I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't deal with going in every day and knowing like, this is the most I'm going to make. I had to be here at this time. And you want to know what was the day? As funny as this, LeBron came back to Cleveland. Okay. And 2014, excuse me, great day. And my friends are blowing me up and I'm on the floor. My friends are blowing me up. And like, I see a text, LeBron's back. LeBron's coming home. I'm like, I got to get out of here.
That's just when you knew you're like, these guys are not thinking the same way as me. I got to
get out of here. And literally, I think I put my 2 weeks and left. I was done 2 weeks later from there. That was it. And as funny as it is, like, you could argue like LeBron's the reason why, but like, I was on my way out. I knew I needed out.
That could be a good
touch a single dollar.
YouTube thumbnail.
All of my nursing paychecks went right to investing. Never did anything with it other than that.
So how long were you nursing?
A year.
Okay.
About a year,
Yeah.
9, 10 months. I was leaving on lunch, going and picking up security deposits on 9610 Kinsman. Like, again, these guys, I couldn't deal with the hamster on a wheel mentality. Like, I knew I needed to have more, and I was already thriving in this. We're growing, and yeah, jumped in full time. Here we are.
So you got your license in 2012 or 2014?
2014.
So you got your license in 2014. You were doing a little bit of property management, leasing up, being a leasing agent, getting the experience. So you jumped into being an agent, and kind of, how'd you learn the business? Did you join with a team? Did you start your own thing right away, or what'd you do?
I was working with that PM side. So this PM company, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Like, eventually we grew it to 2,500 doors. I'm part owner.
Whoa.
We just sold to VCs for a $8 million valuation.
Wow.
Like,
Congrats, by the way.
We took this from, thank you. We took
That's
this
awesome.
We took this from 30 doors to this. And nobody in Cleveland, I've told, by the way, other than my circle, like only a dozen people in Cleveland know this. And now you guys, ink just dried in December.
Wow.
But that was a long
dude,
year of
I
your
bet.
life.
Yeah, I bet that was stressful getting through that process.
Yeah, well, we could talk about that. That was a 9-month ordeal. I knew nothing about M&As, knew nothing about. I'm some kid from Parma Heights tackling, with my one attorney, a boardroom attorneys, VCs from Miami, trying to negotiate this merger and acquisition.
Wow.
And oh my God, yeah.
Wow.
But it all worked out. It's great. It ended out all's well that ends well. And I'm still ended up still partnering with them, so got a nice payday and some solid post-acquisition rev share. So we're in a good spot. But to your question earlier, I'm working with the PM team, and, at the time, I'm just kind of seeing how this works full circle. And at the time, he was working with a few investors, and that's how the PM team started. Okay. And, he and I are talking, and, we're kind of working through, like, this is what it could look like, Mike. And I remember he drew me this weird circle. Okay. And just trying, that's like the circle of life from Lion King. Okay. You start here, Mike, you sell to an investor, we manage it, and then we do it again. And, like, as unsophisticated as the circle of life image was,
right.
It was right. It worked. And, like, that was the goal that we were looking for. So I stuck with the PM side, got my license, and we basically kind of grew this thing together. And I got licensed with the intent of working with investors, but I was new. I was hungry. I was like, I just quit a 40-hour work week job, so I had a lot of spare time, right? My work weeks can go from 40 to 80 hours now. So I was just taking whatever I can get: retail, owner occupants, sellers, buyers, plus investors from all over the world. And we were just hit the ground running. My first year, I did 6 million. And back in 2014, 2015, 6 million was a lot, guys.
Right.
It was a lot. I was selling houses in Parma for $40,000. Like, that was a lot.
You got to do a lot of $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 transactions to do 6 million.
Yeah, literally. I remember I sold a house in Brunswick for like $250,000, and it was like, oh my God, it was a White House basically.
So how many transactions do you think that equated to that year? I mean, would you do like 100 transactions, or?
I did about 80 or 90 my first year, and then I hit about 110 plus my second year. So yeah. We were always a high volume transaction team because of the investor side. So we were never like if you looked at our, value per transactions, it was always, like other realtors would look and scoff. And guys, by the way, for the first, I could argue 6 years of my career, we're just crushing it. I'm still getting scoffs and looks. I was the East Cleveland guy for my brokerage. Like the other agents at the brokerage now look up to me. I was the 25, 26, 27-year-old East Cleveland kid. Oh, just send him the East Cleveland leads. Like, he'll take care of them, You're
like, please, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's money.
Not understanding what really we were trying to do, not understanding like our full, our full service approach. We were working with investors, building a real estate portfolio. Okay. They were referring others. I'm working with funds. I'm working with investment groups from Israel, from Australia, from Sweden, from France,
Wow.
buying these properties by the dozens. And we're setting up construction. We're setting up tenants. We're setting up city registration and then the property management. And then we're doing it again and again and again. And then those guys are bringing more in and then they're selling it. And then we're doing it again.
So at what point in this evolution did you realize for yourself, like, I need to be buying and holding properties for myself or flipping? I mean, where did that start?
One of my first clients, who I still work with to this day, I remember back, it was like 2016. I don't remember. They were buying a ton and they were the kind of a catalyst for these investment groups from overseas. They had three groups of investors, we'll call it, and in each LLC, they bought 20 properties. It was wild. But he called me the shoemaker that walked around barefoot. That was my favorite line.
That's funny.
And I still think about that. Mike, it's like, you're the shoemaker that walks around barefoot. Like, I still just resonated.
Wow.
And I knew I wanted to invest. I was just building capital and
Right.
And guys, like, I was doing well. I was 25 years old. I had a couple 100,000 already,
Yeah.
26 years old. I probably had 150,000, 200,000 in my name. And I started buying at the auction. And it's when I realized, like, I got to start doing stuff on my own. And I started buying at the sheriff's auction. And I mean, guys, just for anybody that doesn't know, the sheriff's auction, like, it used to be something where you had to go down in person
Right.
on a Monday morning, 8 a.m. And, it's a lot different bidding in person than it is from your computer screen.
Oh yeah.
And back then there wasn't a lot of people there. And we were buying houses like 19, 20,000 a pop there. And I was buying these and just started flipping and holding. Some of these I still hold. I built a lot of capital flipping that way. And, just started, rest is history.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's so interesting. It was an investor who was kind of called you out on that, which great that he did that. And it made you think and probably jump in sooner rather than later. Honestly.
Investors don't want to work with agents that don't understand the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
I get that question a lot from investors. Like, I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
If you really believe this is lucrative, then why don't you do it yourself?
Exactly. And do you actually understand how we should be looking at this, assessing the deal, targeting it, rents, rehab?
Because they're not from the area. And how are they going to have confidence you understand the metrics that would make a good investment? Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So I'm listening to your story. One of the things that I'm hearing you say is the high volume and just really getting on the business end of doing transactions really pulled you guys into building out a business that was solving clients' needs. So it was like, okay, somebody buys a package of 20 houses, and then those investors are like, hey, some of the tenants we like, some of them we don't, some of them are vacant. How do we? And then you value add and say, well, we'll lease them up for you. And so it's like your business kept building out and you kept stepping into a new kind of service, to meet those client needs.
So can we talk about kind of maybe the different vertical integrations of your business a second? I know maybe this is getting off on a rabbit trail, but you said we understand the property management company. Is the construction piece of that just part of the property management company, or is that a separate construction company that you guys sub out to do stuff?
Complicated, but a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'd say it's part of our full service, but we have a separate third-party company that we've also branched off and have 8 to 10 crews running at a time consistently.
Which for 2,500 rentals or whatever you're up to now, I mean, obviously you need a lot of people to keep up with that stuff.
That we've already, I think we're slated for about 5 million in revenue this year in construction.
Wow.
Okay.
It's a lot of projects.
That's a lot.
We used to get burned from these guys back in the day. And the way we started is we worked with contractors and we would subcontract to them. We'd outsource to them and we'd charge a little bit of a fee to the client. Okay. And it worked, guys, and it works. And by the way, there are still some of those countries that we still work with. So like to your question a little bit ago, we do a little bit of both. That used to be about 90 to 10% weighted, 90% outside contractors, 10% internal. And we would but we would still make a fee on the other 90. And, that was our consulting construction management business. It's flipped. We're 80-20 now, 70-30, 80-20 the other way now.
Gotcha.
And now we've controlled the whole operation because we found it's a lot more profitable. We're able to control the process. We're able to put a better product out, and we don't have the same risks that we had back when we were working with, guys. At one point, I think we had 20 different local contractors in the area working for us, and they're subbing out to so many different people. Like we had such a huge umbrella under us.
Wow. So from a person capital standpoint, how many people are on your property management team now?
At one point, we had about 85. We were 14 on Crane's Cleveland fastest growing company. 14 and they're like top 100 fastest growing companies in Cleveland. We were 14. And I think the next year we were like 19th. We got up there in numbers.
Moving pretty significantly.
Yeah. So about 85 at one point. Right now, I think we're down to about like 60.
Yeah. So on your agent side, you guys are still doing a lot of transaction, or is that eased up?
Still a lot of transactions.
Okay.
I refuse to let us slow up.
And how many agents do you have on your team?
We just added 11 now.
Okay.
We've never had a big team. This is the most agents we've had. And in the last 2 years is really when I started getting into that like 8 to 10 range. For the first 5, 6, 7 years, it was really just me and then me and 2 other agents. So we're always a small, lean and mean team. Just now, over the last couple of years, we start getting into that like double digits.
Yeah. Wow.
Man. That's awesome. What would you?
It's tough to. Recruiting's been tough. I'm not like it's one of the things that I kind of put on the back burner, and getting guys to buy into the ecosystem. Like we want people to like understand and buy into what we do, and buy into how you feed into the ecosystem will feed back into you. That's been very important to me and important to us and even the other agents. And that's why I've just never opened the floodgates. Like most brokerages have this big funnel. Most teams have this big funnel and just throw agents in and spit them out the end. And, doesn't matter. You get you end up with a few
See
here.
Who stays and
for us, we're just not interested in that. Yeah. We want guys we want to work. It does work for most. And that's why I'll never be a guy that has 30 agents on a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say, just observationally for yourself, as you guys started to expand? Okay, you add the construction management component, you scale the property management company. What were a couple of key evolutions you had to go through as a leader to keep pace with the growth of your companies?
Oh, man. So from an operational standpoint, I struggled in the beginning. I was run. And it was one of those things like, I'll take care of the logistics, finer details later. We got to run. We got to sell houses. We got to sell. I got to bring more contractors in.
Top funnel related stuff.
Yep. And then it hit a point where it's just like, we're not running like a business. We're making a lot of money, but this isn't functional. And this is the big part. If I step away, this falls apart. Like that was the epitome of single point of failure. I'm sure you guys have heard of that single point of failure. If I stepped away for a week, guys, I couldn't even take a vacation without being on my phone 24 hours a day. Because we weren't operating like a business. And, I let years of lack of organization, I guess we'll call it, really catch up to us. So that was a bottleneck. Bringing new agents on, excuse me, was stressful because I didn't have it streamlined well enough. I watched some of these other teams and how they operate, and they're not doing the volume we're doing. They don't have the reach that we have. They don't have the presence we have, but they're just operating so much more functionally.
Yeah.
and I had to fix that. So we really got dialed in. I don't just talk, like I'm going to do it. We got dialed in from a processes standpoint. We put together playbooks, videos, training, onboarding, all the way from agent onboarding to client onboarding to investor tools to like we have an entire investor onboarding, and you get set up with tools and trackers, and all of that was just so important with getting all that situated. So I mean, like that was tough to kind of match the pace. And then from a financial perspective, guys, I was in my early 30s making 7 figures, and that was like, I know, boo-hoo, like tough. Like I grew up middle class family, like it's like I wasn't really necessarily financially literate to that stage, and like all of a sudden I'm in a class with these big players, and I had a lot of my money sitting in just a freaking money market account.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had to learn how to be financially literate, how to have my money work for me, and how to invest back in the business. And so it was a lot of that. It was a lot of growing or learning on the spot. Probably a result of years of just running, and having to stop at one point and going, okay, we can still run, but like maybe let's tone it down to a jog, and let's let everybody catch up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's
good.
something that we all have to kind of reconcile with. Is it's the man in the mirror moment. You realize that
You're the bottleneck,
and you have to go to a different level or go get some different skills, people, resources around you in order to keep, the ball moving downfield. So yeah.
No, that's great. We're going to jump into our smaller pockets segment. Mike, so this is the part of the show where you tell us about a deal that went wrong, and more importantly, what did you learn from it?
Yeah. So you guys earlier asked about getting into, when did you start getting into investing yourself? And, over time, obviously, it's gotten bigger and bigger. I have almost an addiction to buying real estate now. I'm buying. Just in the last 30 days, I've closed on 9 homes. I have 1 closing today. I have 7 in escrow. These are not counting the ones I'm in escrow on the listing side.
Right.
I think 15 or 16 projects going. So back in August, so I'm aggressive. I am aggressive to a T. I will buy. And guys, like, risk and being aggressive, like, that's where you make your money. And, I just look at it as like 10 years of experience. Like, I'm 10 plus years of experience. I've seen enough that, I can take calculated risks, so to speak. But at a certain point, it's like life tends to kick you back a notch and say, it's like life's way of saying, hey, like, don't settle down there, son. It's like you need to relax and remember what your some of your foundational pieces here. So back in August, I bought a 5-pack of single families from an investor in Hong Kong, and I just got so aggressive. And this is the part of running. I never even went and looked at them. I looked at photos back from 2024, and I'll share the photos with you guys offline. So if you guys want to share this with your audience, but I looked at photos back from 2024, didn't really dive into it, looked at a couple, forgot closing was coming up. The day before closing, they scheduled me. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm closing on these tomorrow. Didn't do any real due diligence other than what I did at the initial onset. Like I looked at I ran some numbers like I normally do. One of them had a sinking foundation after closing, and the other one was completely charred from fire damage.
Oh.
Charred. I mean, like, it's unrecognizable. Evidently, it was close to getting demoed by the city of Eastlake.
Whoa.
And that was like a wake-up call. Like, you've got to slow down. Like, you are an idiot.
That investor in Hong Kong was like, I'm sure he's going to bring it up to me before closing.
I honestly, I'm not one of these guys that like tries to like look for pound of flesh. I actually don't know if he even knew. That's why he was selling these, because he was so
So,
far gone
wow.
from these, and like he didn't know what was going on either. Maybe he knew.
I take it
It's on
those
me.
properties were not managed by your property management company.
No, 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 not at all. I get a lot of this. Yeah, right. That would that would be amazing.
That would be another wake up call.
Oh my God. I sent one of my guys there. I sent one of my acquisition guys there. Like, how did we miss this, guys? We got tenants lined up, right?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I mean, just windows blown out and
So
Man.
what for you? I mean, you look at that, you're like,
funny.
okay, I would never would have bought this had I known. So what was the breakdown in your systems?
Not having systems in place on the acquisition side.
Yeah.
For your
I had them for the
personal
clients.
stuff. Yeah.
For my personal
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Yep.
I didn't have anything in place.
Yeah,
Like
interesting.
I just, oh, this looked good. I'm ready to buy it. Let's go. All right.
Yeah.
Once we get to construction, we had process in place. Once we got to the management of the rehab, we have process in place. Once we got to disposition, to selling it, to marketing it, we had plenty of process in place. But
Yeah.
for my acquisition, nothing. I'm ready to buy it.
Well,
Send me the contract.
the system was you were the acquisitions manager for yourself personally, and you were overwhelmed and saturated with so many other things that you couldn't give it the time and attention that that acquisition needed.
Well, and I think
That's well
sometimes,
said.
yeah, as maybe seasoned investors or even seasoned agents, I've even seen myself get overconfident in certain scenarios.
Yeah, right.
And you're just like, oh, yeah, I've done this 1,000 times, right? And you just are like, yeah, it should be fine. And kind of sometimes makes you sloppy or lazy without those checks and balances, without those accountabilities.
That's good.
But yeah, that is good.
All right, Mike,
I think
we're
it's
going
a
to hit
combination of both for sure. I think it's a combination of
Yeah.
both for sure. That
Yeah.
was it's one of those like, I'll get out of this, I'll figure it out. And we closed, and it was just a wake up call,
Yeah.
So wait, real quick before we move on, what'd you do with those properties? Did you demo one of them or fix them or?
Rehab them, and one of them hits the market tomorrow.
Okay, nice.
Gorgeous. You would never even know. Funny story on that. My brother-in-law put the fire out. He's one of the chief of fires.
No
in
way.
East Lake. He's not the chief of fire, but he's like right below, like lieutenant. I forget what the title is. I hope he doesn't get mad that I don't know this. But yeah, he put the fire out, and I remember him talking about this fire and blah blah blah, and then I put two and two together. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, he's like, I could have told you. He's like, I could have told you not to buy this.
Yeah, he's like, you bought that? I'm like,
Dude, oh my gosh, that's funny. That's a full circle moment right there. Wow.
full circle. Crazy.
All right, Mike, we're going to go into what we call our little nugget. So, Mike, you've given us a lot of great advice, but we're after more. We're going to pivot a little bit and kind of drill down to, obviously, you found a lot of success, just listening to your journey this far. What's been one of the guiding kind of core principles that Mike operates by that you think our listeners would get value from?
I don't chase dollars. I don't chase money. I find ways and systems that'll continuously print it. Anything that I've looked at in this industry that, looks to be short-term, appealing short-term, quick deal, wholesaling this, that, doing a rehab, title side, I've never been interested in like some sort of one night stand. I'm not chasing a quick buck. I want to capture and build the system, grow the system that's going to print that in perpetuity. Wholesaling. I bought a direct acquisition team. I got tired of paying wholesale fees. One year we paid out, I think it was like $300,000 or $400,000 in wholesale fees. We calculated at the end of the year.
Wow.
We were buying a lot of deals, and by the end of it, we're like, we got to get a wholesale team. We got to get a direct acquisition team. The construction side. I got tired of paying out subcontractor fees and getting missed deadlines. So we built out a construction arm, title, insurance now, all the way down the line. And even on the agent realtor side, I built a very efficient, streamlined, professional team. And we don't chase deals. Like, we're looking to build relationships, long-term relationships where you can feed into the ecosystem. So it feeds you long-term. So I think that's one of the things I think entrepreneurs, agents, whomever, don't chase short-term gains. Don't chase the dollar. Don't chase a buck. Find ways to maximize it, reinvest it, look at what's the bigger picture. I'm looking to build systems that'll print the money, not chase it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good advice. That's good advice. Mike, as we kind of land the plane here and bring things in closing, what's been one of the best resources that you would say contributed to your development in business?
Best resources.
Yeah, it could be book, podcast, person,
coaching.
It's a good question. Best resources.
Trying to put you on the hot seat.
I know. I'll say this. Back in like 20, I'm going to be on the spot here. 2017, 2018? No, 2018 maybe. I went to a Keller Williams conference, and it was in Texas. It was in Dallas, I believe. And I flew out with Keller Williams to this conference. And I flew out with some of the local Keller Williams teams, and they invited me to go. And I sat on a plane with Ryan Young. And I got to say, like, that was a turning point in my career. He doesn't know that I know that I think this. I have immense respect for the dude. Just such a sharp entrepreneur, really understands like there's more to just real estate than just selling a house, like built systems and businesses around it while still having a thriving real estate team. But I sat on the plane with him, and I mean, we're talking about a couple-hour flight, just like completely picked his brain.
Wow.
And I walked away from that trip, by the way. That's when shortly after I'm like, all right, I gotta build this out. And that's when the Azzam Group started.
Wow.
What a turning point.
You know what's funny? I talked to a guy yesterday out of Texas. He's in his 70s, 50-year career in business. And he told me, he's like, I could consolidate my 50 years in business down to a few key moments that were absolutely pivotal. Wow. And I was just like, you just kind of let the gravity of that situation, of that statement sink in. And it goes back to the original. I'm going to bring it full circle, and then we'll kind of close here. But, you made a comment in the beginning, and we were talking about, like, luck, right place, right time. But it's being present so that those things can happen around you. And I'm convinced more and more that is really the way to go. Mike, what does it look like for people to connect with you or to follow your success? How can people do that?
Guys, hit us up. You can jump on our campaigns. We put out very good, content, resources, information, coaching. Just email us info@theazzamgroup.com. You can follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. On Instagram, I think it's at Mike Azzam or Azzam Mike, one of the two. Is it bad? I don't know my handle.
It's all right.
And, connect with us there. And, we'll offer consultation calls, 15-minute consultation calls. If you ever want to just pick my brain, learn about the industry, learn about the market, happy to connect.
Awesome, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mike, for coming on and sharing with us about your company, your business, what you guys are doing. Really appreciate your time.
As always, excited that you joined us for another episode of the Reinvest Podcast. If you want to learn how you can use your hard-earned capital to diversify into real estate, go to our website, reinvestcapital.us, and shoot us a message. Move farther, reach higher, and grow deeper.